Hello there. Thank you for taking a moment to watch this video. And on this specific training, we're going to continue our Salesforce integration training, and we're going to essentially pick up where we left off. Now that we've installed the PhoneBurner app into your Salesforce org, and we've ensured that the option to begin a PhoneBurner dial session has been added to our leads object, I think it's now time that we do a test dial session. So I'm going to go ahead and just select one record right now. I'm going to go to the button menu and I'm going to go to the Begin PhoneBurner Session button. Once I click on that button, I'm going to be taken to this Visual Force page. Now, since we are launching our dial session from the leads object, we have two options for sorting the records that we're going to be calling. Now, of course, I've only selected one record, so it doesn't really matter which option I choose for this particular dial session. But when you're dealing with a larger list, you might want to call those leads in order sorted by name or in order sorted by company name. I'm going to go ahead and just choose the name option and launch our dial session. That's going to pop up a new window where I can enter my username and password. Once I've entered my username and password, I go ahead and sign in. I'm going to have a little bit of setup to do to initiate my dial session. Now, of course, there's a lot of configuration that you can do to ensure that PhoneBurner is set up properly for all of the different types of calls that you might be making. But we're not going to dive into all of those details right now. I just want to point out that you can configure the system with what we call dialer presets, where you can take all of those settings and bundle them up into a preset. And then you just say, okay, this is the first call, the first attempt. I'm going to choose that. And then all of my settings specific to the first call are assigned to this specific session, and I can move on quickly. Now I'm going to get connected to the system. I can either dial in using my telephone or a headset plugged into my computer. I'm going to use my headset. Once I get connected, I can start dialing. And now the system is going to start calling that lead that I selected to test. If they answer, great, I have a conversation and I talk to them. If they don't answer, I click the voicemail button and I move on to the next call. Now with this first test call, all I'm really trying to do is verify that everything is showing up and working the way I'd expect it. You see, when you're in a dial session, you should be able to see the lead details. So I want to make sure that this iframe is showing up. And when I've got this lead details in here, and since this is an iframe coming over from Salesforce, I can actually edit right here in the dial session window. And then when I save it, any changes I made will then be saved directly back to Salesforce. But again, at this point, all I'm really trying to do is just ensure that the iframe is showing up and everything is looking the way I'd expect it to look. And then the last thing I'm going to do in this specific test dial session is I'm going to disposition this call. I'm going to go ahead and mark this one as set appointment. Let's close this window. Let's go back. Let's open up that contact record and let's verify that the call activity that we just completed in the dial session window has actually logged to that lead back in Salesforce. And there it is. We can see that that call activity using PhoneBurner has logged a call back to that lead record. So at this point, we have the basic setup, and you could actually start taking advantage of the PhoneBurner application in Salesforce. You see how easy that is? Just a few minutes, you can be up and running and dialing using the PhoneBurner app in Salesforce. But don't forget, I've got a lot more training to help you make sure that you can take full advantage of the entire system so that you can get the most out of this integration and your Salesforce org. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and happy dialing.